Hello, everyone. It's been a long time since I've been live and done this, but I'm super excited to be back here on Authority Podcast. And I'm here with an amazing author, Scott Wells, who has a new book that is out, very, very exciting, called Marked by the Ouija, hence our creepy backgrounds here with the Ouija, which I think are kind of cool. Anyways, I am super excited to have you here, and I figured I want to interview you about the process of writing this book, and more so kind of get to the backstory of why the Ouija board, why Marked by the Ouija. Let's just go.
Well, it's something that I have always been interested in and curious about. And when I had the opportunity to try it, at first I didn't believe it. I thought it was just a game, and I was wrong. It definitely threw me for a loop, and I had an incredible, amazing experience, and I wanted to share it.
Yeah,
that's how this came to be, and I am very excited to share it with everyone.
And it's funny because as we started talking about this, I have a crazy story about Ouija as well. And we found that so many other people have a weird experience. Even talking to a client, he's like, oh yeah, you don't mess with the board. That's a no. And I'm like, oh, well, we should get into this. Let's talk about that. So there's a whole other aspect too that we'll get into for anyone out there that does have a Ouija story. We want to hear about it. And we'll get to that in a moment. But what was it like writing it? What was it like reliving that time that you lived, that experience that you lived, without giving the book away completely? But yeah, let's talk about that.
So it happened in a small town in Idaho where I grew up, and every time I go back to that town, I have to drive past the house where this happened, where the experience happened. And every time I see the house, I feel some of the same feelings, and the prickly skin and the goosebumps. And, so when I started to write this, it brought it all back. And I wanted to make sure that everyone who read the story felt the same thing that I felt when not only I wrote it, but also when I experienced it. Mm-hmm. So it was fun. It was a challenge at times. It forced me to come to terms and remember some of the more serious things that actually happened, and as well as the players that were mm-hmm. there, some of the people that were there when we played it. It still now, when I share the story and when I talk about it, or even when I've been promoting the book, I still get those chills running down my spine, knowing that it's something that really happened, and it's a little twisted.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to give the spoiler alert away, but what I will do is I'll go ahead and I'll read what the teaser is for the back of the book. So, Marked by the Ouija, once marked, there's no turning back. A chilling mystery inspired by true events. When a group of friends stumble upon a brand new Ouija board, a night of harmless fun spirals into a terrifying encounter with the unknown. Spooked by the pleas of restless spirit Peter, they burn the board, which reappears the next day without a trace of the fire. Haunted by cryptic warnings, unexplainable phenomena, and a message they can't ignore, the thrill seekers find themselves tangled in a ghostly vengeance. As the line between the natural and the supernatural blurs, they face a life-altering question. Can they trust the board, or are they unleashing a darkness far beyond their control? Super creepy, but it makes me want to read it though too. I would say this genre is more young adult. It is a short story, and let's also talk about what is the feeling that you want people to read or people to feel from reading this, and what do you want to get their minds thinking about?
So first of all, I would love for them, and my intent was for everyone who read it to feel those spine tingling chills, that the suspense of what's going to happen. Because when you read it, you think you know what's going to happen, and then you don't. It changes. Right. It changes, and it's a twisted story, and I want people to feel that anxiety, that uncertainty of knowing what's going to happen. And then when they read what actually happens, it surprises them, and they feel the same thing that I felt when I experienced it. Would be my number one goal for everyone reading it. I've had just an unbelievable amount of positive comments, like you mentioned earlier, about others that have had their own experiences, and these experiences that others have can be very different from mine, and there are some similarities. I mean, it's all across the board, no pun intended. But it is a spine tingling mystery that was never resolved, at least not in the way that we wanted it to be resolved. It ended up in a far more sinister ending than we had expected.
And I mean, so many people have played with the board. It's sold at Walmart or Target. You can buy it online. There's no age limit to it. Why do you think that is? I mean, I guess it's a question many of us wonder, but I'm curious your take on that.
That's a really interesting question, because when I first heard about it, I had envisioned, and in my mind, I pictured this wooden board carved from the 13th century with just centuries of souls trapped inside. And, when you look at it, you see the swirling, the souls and the mist above it. And it wasn't that for me. I ended up finding mine, like you mentioned. It was at a local variety store in my small town in Idaho. It was sold by a major game manufacturer. It was
It's Hasbro. Everyone knows. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna say it's a Hasbro board. I mean, why would Hasbro sell something that is sinister or scary, or or if that's what makes you wonder?
And the more that I talk about this, and the more variety of views and perceptions and people and experiences that I encounter, that I come across, that's a really good question, because you can find it in these mass retailers, and you wouldn't think that these mass retailers would sell anything that would be that could be sinister, dangerous, demonic, anything like that. However, I think a lot of it is how it's used, how it's perceived, how much of it you believe in it. For those that believe in it, they won't even go near it. I talked to someone online that she told me that anyone that, growing up, her parents taught her to stay away from it, and anyone that had it, she wasn't allowed to do it. So she really, her experience was very limited, only from what she was told. And then there was others that have had just a variety of experiences. So I think a lot of it really depends on respecting the board, and that plays a big part in my story. One of my friends did not respect the board, and that directly affected the outcome of the story. So I believe it's, that's interesting question, because there's so many different aspects that can go into that. But I think, if you put it in a nutshell, it would be whether you believe in it, whether you respect it, and how you handle it. It's not something to be played with without expecting some sort of result. Even if you don't believe in it, you're going to get some sort of result.
Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. That's right. And it will happen.
And so, yes. And then more about you, like you yourself, you call yourself a story weaver, a memory maker, you're an adventurer, survivor. We can talk about that another time. But, you are a thriller author, hence your shirt. Tell me about when have you always been into thrills and chills, or when you really got into thriller or horror or mystery in that sense?
So I've always been one of those people that weird, strange, odd, bizarre things happen to. At first, I didn't really understand it. The more I got older, the older I got, I grew into that. And I now expect that. And I know that about myself. And I appreciate that. I think that has really helped to foster my love and my appreciation for thriller stories and horrors and things that make you question, yourself, and question others, and question everything around you. I love that. I think the mind is a very powerful muscle in your body. It's extremely powerful, and you can do things that you never thought possible, and that fascinates me. And how people, you can have the same situation from 10 different people and have 10 different outcomes. And I think that's incredible. And for me, when it comes to thrillers and horror stories, I'm just drawn to that. It brings new life into me. And I love being able to share my stories and share stories because I want to see their reaction. I want to feel their excitement. I want them to have something else in their life that they can grasp onto, that gives them excitement or chills, or, I want everyone to live life to the fullest. And that's part of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes complete sense. Just like I was looking at, your website right now. For anyone that's out there, you guys can go to scottwellsauthor.com. And some of the themes that kind of run through all of his work are really exploring the hidden layers of people, places, events, like the truth behind the facade. Courage in adversity is another one, uncovering strength in the face of the unexpected, whether it's Marked by the Ouija or whether it's one of your other projects that you have. Human connection, nature's duality, showcasing the beauty and the danger of the wild and the lessons that they offer. I mean, it's a lot of lessons, right? And the power of perspective, as you were saying, encouraging readers to look beyond the assumptions and embrace the unknown. And the same thing is perspective, just like, like an accident, someone witnesses an accident and there's 5 people there, they're all going to have a different take on it. It's what really happened. But all of them may be true, and it's all of their perceptions. And it's also like when you read a book and it's so descriptive, you get this idea. Everyone gets their own idea of what happened by reading the book. And then when you watch the movie, you're like, some people get really mad. Like, that wasn't my perception of it, that it was the directors and the writers' perception of what it was. So like Harry Potter, for example, or any other, or Twilight is a big one that everyone went uproar about. That's not the actor that we saw in the book, again, perception of what you create. And then that being said, this is being made into a short film, which is super exciting. And so how has it been for you as an author, as a writer, to go from writing a book to a screenplay? And they're different, right?
They are very different. And it's been very exciting. I've learned a tremendous amount in a short period of time. And all of that, it enhances my life. And, it has taught me so many things, not only about my writing and about my storytelling and about what I want to convey in my stories, but it's also taught me about myself, who I am, what makes me tick. And I think that, and I would love for everyone else to really have that exploration, for themselves, because like you said, you see a car accident, and you've got 5 different witnesses, and they all have different stories. So that's one of the beauties of reading and books, which I hope, with the way that things are progressing, I hope people always grasp onto books, because that really makes your mind think about it, and it makes it more real. I love movies and I love films, and like you said, we're Marked by the Ouija is going to be a short film, and we're also looking at a potential feature as well as the project that you had mentioned earlier. So there's a lot of different avenues that people can tell stories, and I'm thankful to be able to share my stories in a variety of different avenues, so it reaches more people, because the more people that it reaches, the more that they can in their own lives be able to expect the unexpected. And when they see something, maybe not make a quick decision and judgment on it, but sit back and gather all the facts, and then make a decision, an informed decision based on what they've learned. I think that could help our society. I think it could help in everyone's personal lives. And that's one of the things that my writing, or the films and the other projects, I hope will encourage for everyone.
And do you find that it's easier to go from a book to a script, or script to a book?
That is another great question. I have always, so I've written the screenplay for another project, and I'm adapting that to a book. So that's backwards, basically. Where on this project, Marked by the Ouija, I've actually written the book, and I'm adapting it to a screenplay. So I'm in the process of seeing how both of them work. And I'm curious to see which is going to be more effective. From my personal perspective, I writing the book is especially because my stories are based on true experiences, so it gives me a chance. I already know the story. It gives me a chance to really expand on the details, and really, I want everyone to see and feel what I'm feeling in that moment, as opposed to the film. Like you said, it's
right.
Generally the director's perspective on it, but it reaches different people, and you can still get the same effect with that same end result of people not judging, not jumping to judgment. It's just different avenues to get the same result. I think both of them are great. I'm learning so much from both of them. And I've had some outstanding help and guidance along the way, because it's never just a one-person project. It takes a lot of people to make it work. And I've been very, very fortunate to have some strong people that I can count on and rely on to help make these projects possible.
Amazing. And then I do want to briefly, without describing too much, I'm going to put a link here at the bottom, and you guys can see the links directly to buy the ebook, which is out today. Again, Marked by the Ouija. The link is right below. If it's not, I think Instagram is the only space that I need to plug it into. It will be soon, and I'll pin it to the top. And then the actual paper book and hardback come out this Friday. So it's super exciting. And for those that don't know and understand, in order to get best-selling author on Amazon, you need to sell so many books within a certain time period. So please, 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 if you want to buy the ebook, it's 99 cents today. Please feel free and click below. And otherwise, wait for the paperback. It's also at a discounted rate, and or hardback on Friday. So please help another author out.
Yes.
Link them by. And then we do have a project super, super excited about. I'm also going to put the link here below. If anyone has their own Ouija story, whatever it may be, good or bad, creepy or odd, we love it all. We would love for you to submit your story because we are collecting them for a special project that we are up to, which we will not reveal what that is. But I'm also going to post the link here below so you guys can check that out. It will also be on scottwellsauthor.com, and you guys will see submit your story here at the top. And yeah, I'm really excited about everything. So anything else to add to?
This other project is going to be very, very exciting, and it's all tied together.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that I get so excited about this is it's something that there are so many people that are interested in it, but it's one of those topics that I think a lot of people are afraid to talk about. They're afraid to mention. And I would love to be able to bring this into for people to bring this up in regular social settings and not to have a stigma about Ouija boards. They're interesting. They are real. They are, and the stories, I mean, and with this extra project, this additional project you were mentioning, when we get to the point where we release this, the stories are incredible, and they're
wait till you guys hear.
they are unbelievable, and it is exciting to be able to be a part of that, and to be able to share even more stories, and to give people more of those chills running down your spine, and just to walk away after you experience not only Marked by the Ouija, the book, but the short film, and also this other project. When you walk away, it's something to be able to talk about with your friends and to share with your friends. And it's very, very exciting. And I am thrilled to be able to being able to release it and bring it to everyone to have some very creepy and fun and enjoyable conversations about it.
Absolutely. I cannot wait. Cannot wait till we can talk about it later. And then, woohoo! But you guys can submit your stories, please do so. And, and go into detail as much as you can. And we would love to hop on a call and talk about it. It's going to be so fun. And then last but not least, because of course I'm going to ask this because I'm sitting right here, and this is the Authority podcast, and where I help other authors out and have been working with people and whatnot. For those out there that don't know me as an author coach and ghostwriter for some stories and whatnot, what has your experience been like?
So that is a very easy question for me. When I first decided to write the book, and I had already written a screenplay, but I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to promote it or what to do with it. I mean, I had no experience with that. I just knew that I had an interesting story that I wanted to get out. I come across you, Bridgetta, when I threw a Facebook ad, and I can tell you that it was one of the best decisions I've ever had and I've ever made, to be able to make that call to you, to be able to just to find out, to get your ideas and your concept, your help, your assistance on, hey, what do I need to look for? What do I need to do? What is the next step? Because I didn't know what I didn't know. You have been there to help me every step along the way. You've taught me so much. You've guided me to avoid a lot of those pitfalls that I know for a fact I would have fallen into had I not had your assistance and had your guidance and your help. So for anyone out there that has a story, and there's millions of you that have stories, and their stories are amazing. I still have people coming up to me saying, oh, I have this story about this or about this. I would love for you to write it. And my comment back to them is, well, first off, I think you need to get your story out. And there are a lot of stories. I just had a conversation with someone this past weekend, and she told me it was the mother of a friend of a friend, and she had a very traumatic experience that the more she talked about it, the more I was just, I'm like, this story has to get out. But she's she's not interested in writing it.
Mm.
So what I told her is I said, look, your story is important. Your story can not only help you with the trauma that you're going through, but it can also help other people. And I would strongly encourage anyone out there who has a story that would like a book or would like to write a book or help with a book or just to get their story out, contact Bridgetta. She knows what she's talking about. She is the real deal. She doesn't play around. I've been working with her for a year now, and to go from where I was to where I am now is just outstanding. I owe it to you. You know, you didn't do the work for me, but you told me and showed me and guided me how to do it, what to look for, what to pay attention to, how to make it better, how to different programs and tools to help me. I mean, everything from A to Z, you've been there, and I couldn't ever thank you enough. And anyone out there,
thank you. Please
contact Bridgetta, because like I said, your life will change. She's definitely a life changer.
Thank you. That is amazing. And I'm like, oh, I didn't mean it to be like the whole thing on me, but like, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. And then for anyone else out there that has questions as a writer, I guess, are there any things that you want to talk about as a writer from where you are now that might help other writers in their journey or to get their story out or anything? Any advice?
So the biggest thing that I come across, and I've had a lot of friends and friends of friends and family of friends and relatives of coworkers, you know, that have just come out of the woodwork when they heard that I was writing something. You know, everyone has a story. Everyone has something that they want to share. And from my experience, there's a lot of those stories that are really pretty incredible. I mean, going back to, you know, expect the unexpected is, you know, when you're talking to someone and they start sharing an experience with you or a story that they've had, it blows my mind, because there are so many engaging, captivating stories out there. But the biggest problem or the challenge that I've come across when I've talked to people is they just don't know where to start. You know, again, you don't know what you don't know. And I am a perfect example of that. And so if you have a story and you want to get that out, even if you don't want to write it yourself, there are ghostwriters, there are other ways to be able to get that story out. The first step is to contact Bridgetta. I'm telling you, it's true. She will tell you, and she will tell you she'll answer your questions, and she'll tell you, all right, if you're serious, if this is what you want to do, then this is how to get started. And just that little bit of information takes a lot of stress off your shoulders. It gives you so much more information, and it inspires you to continue that project. You know, I would encourage anyone and everyone to write a story.
Yeah.
It is very therapeutic. And even if it doesn't get published, even if you just choose not to proceed with it, it can change your life. Just being able to tell that story and write it down, put pen to paper, because it will change your life. And if you want to take it to the next step, but not quite sure how, it's something that everyone else feels. Everyone feels. I felt it. I took that next step because I wanted to get this story out, and this and other stories. And here I am. I have my first book out. We're working on a short film. I have my second book second story that's in process, that is also a creepy, twisted tale. true experience. And that is also, I already have the screenplay done for that. So the movie, the feature film, we're working on that. And then this additional experience. So you never know where your journey is going to take you. But the first and most important thing is to take that first step toward your journey. That's the only way you're going to reach it. Don't be afraid. Everyone's afraid, but just take that first step and do it, because I can guarantee you will be happy you did.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. We all have a story within us. Everybody has a story. And whether it's a story of happiness and a glorified moment, or whether it's a story of trauma or overcoming, we all have it. There's many.
Yeah.
Or if you're writing for kids to learn, whatever it may be, from any genre, take that step, start journaling, write it down, write these ideas down. That's how I used to start back in the day. I journaled. It's funny because I found journals of mine from high school recently, and I'm going through like, oh my. And then I remember at one point where I knew my mom was reading my journals. So then I started writing for her to read it.
That's awesome.
And I remember what point that was. And then I was like, ha, you're caught, and she was like, and I'm like, right. I don't know what was true and what wasn't. So it was pretty funny, but, and then
you mentioned earlier, you mentioned about, writing in high school and your journal and things. I started writing when I was in second grade. At least that's when I, my mom saved everything. And when we decided to put the website together, and when we got to that point, it just so happened that I came across those stories, and those stories are also on my website, and they're so cute. Second grade, and some of them I read them, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, where in the world did a second grader in a small farming town in Idaho come up with this stuff?
Yeah.
So I learned, the imagination is powerful, and sharing that imagination and sharing, I think I don't think I'm better than anyone else, but I love being able to share that inspiration with other people. And I love being able to share that the enthusiasm for my stories, because I get excited about everything. And some of those stories, it really, if you get a chance, go to the website and read them. I mean, I swear there's a couple of them that you'd think that it was a second grader on acid. I mean, like, where did it come up with? Where did you come up with this stuff? And it was, all right here in the head. And even now when I go back and look at it, I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
They're great. They're so cute. I'm so glad that you found them, because I'm like, these have to go on this site. They're so great. And so if you guys get a chance, definitely, check his site out, scottwillsauthor.com. As I mentioned before, it is pinged in the comments. And Scott, you're an amazing person and inspiration for all of those out there. And especially, you guys will see him. He's up and coming. Here's the first book, but there's more to come. Lots more to come, and you'll see some more on TV soon. So I'm very, very excited about this journey myself. This book is awesome. The everything else to come is even more awesome. It just keeps getting better and better. So I'm stoked. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close out? Besides follow you, tell them more to follow you.
Actually, there's one more thing that I'd like to add. So this is a project that you're doing. That I 100% support, I believe in, and I think that everyone should get involved, and that is Lucian's Library.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'll let you explain Lucian's Library, but I was thankful that you mentioned it to me, and I am extremely happy to be able to support it and to be able to promote it, because it's an incredible idea, and it inspires young readers up from the first time that they can read all the way up to
older and whatnot. Yeah,
older. And it's something that everyone can get involved in, and it's something to encourage reading and books and education. and it's also a very positive meaning and outcomes. I'll let you explain that. It's a great program.
Sure. So thank you. So Lucian's Little Library, we started as an initiative around South Florida, and hopefully we'll grow from there. We work with the Little Library. It's a foundation that is actually nationwide, and they have a thing where everything is documented. They have an app. So if you go to the app, you'll be able to locate all Lucian's Little Libraries in that app. They're all registered in there. So you can be like, oh, there's Lucian's Little Library here at this spot in this town. And here's one here at this spot in this town. It gives you directions how to get there and everything, which is super cool. And then each one of our libraries is sponsored by someone that, usually I like to have authors sponsor them. So Scott has sponsored one as well. And then I have another client of mine, actually a photographer, Tina Da Silva is another one that has sponsored one for Fort Lauderdale area. And there's someone else. And so it's been really, really fun. And so my little 5-year-old is learning entrepreneurship. So we are also giving back to the community. So we're building these little libraries and we're putting them up. And the other really cool thing about it is upcycling books. And that's what I love about it too, because yes, we're going to have new books in there, but we also have recycled books, books that are no longer, let's say they're pre-loved is the word I'm going to use. And especially for children, as they grow so fast and you get so many books when they're young and then they're done that stage and on to the next stage. Like he's on pre-readers right now and reading like Cat in the Hat and stuff, which is exciting. So all the baby books, what do we do with them? I don't just want to throw them away. And you can't the library doesn't really fully take donations. Some do, some don't. So I'm like, well, gosh, I could, give them to another parent, but what if we can give them back to community and upcycle those books and give them to someone else who will love it just as much as we did? So we stack these libraries full of books, different genres. Scott's is actually going to be, it's an all thriller one. We're collecting books now, which is really exciting. So for anyone out there that does have any thriller, horror, young adult books in those genres and older, vampire, could be anything like kind of cool, creepy. We would love to have them. You guys can DM me and I'll give you an address of where to ship them to, and we will stock them in Scott's Little Library that is going up soon. And I have a location for that. I will release that in the next 2 weeks because I'm waiting on the finalization of which box they're getting, which is a permanent one outside or one they want to move in and out in case there's a hurricane or whatnot. So they're like deciding like a movable one. So I'll let you know soon, but we'll have pictures and video. But what's really exciting about it is just giving back to the community to not only read, but giving these books a second chance to be read and loved by someone else. And you can donate a book and take a book. And then we're also going to be reading around the community as well. And so I'm showing Lucian like what it is to give back to society. But also like another thing that we're doing is, because I believe in clean eating, we don't sell candy bars or anything or cookies or whatnot. Kudos to those that do. But it's like what I'm doing is if you guys want to do his little project, you could donate, $10 so we can buy a new book for it, or you could donate your old books, either or. And that's what's really exciting about this, and inspiring other authors. I would love authors to sponsor a box because it goes to there's a QR code that goes to your website. People learn about you and what your genre is can stay in that box, which is exciting. And we go around and we check on the boxes to make sure they stay themed. Because obviously if you're going to donate a book, I'm not going to argue if it's like, you're going to put a romance novel into the thriller. Cool. Thank you. I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to put it into another box. That's the romance one, and make sure yours stays for the thriller one. But we love that. And so I'm really excited about this whole project. You guys can visit Lucian's Little Library. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's lucianslade.com. lucianslade.com, and you'll see Lucian's Little Library on his website right there. So I'm very excited about it.
It's an amazing program, and I encourage everyone to participate and get involved. And $10, $20, send a book. I mean, you're doing something to help the education and help the community and help other people learn new things and expand their life. And it's just an amazing program, and I'm thrilled and very thankful that you brought this to everyone's attention, and that we can participate in it.
Thank you. And thank you for reminding me, because it slipped my mind to talk about it. I keep, and my social media girl's like, you got to go online and do videos. I'm like, I know. And then I've been so caught up with other things that I forgot. And then today earlier I said, okay, let's write it down exactly what I should do and when we're going to do that. So thank you. This is here it is today. So awesome. And
like,
you guys will hear
like I said
soon.
earlier, Bridgetta is not a sit on the sofa and type of person. If she says she's going to do it, you can believe she's going to do it, and you can trust her on that, on everything she says.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thanks so much for coming on today. I cannot wait. And for everyone out there, please remember Scott Wells, Marked by the Ouija. The ebook is out today for 99 cents, and then you get the hardback and paperback on this Friday. Please help him get bestseller by, going to Amazon. The link is below. Woo-hoo, and support an author. And yes, bestseller status does really help authors, especially like first time. When I say first time author, even though he's written before, first time published author, it really helps notoriety and to help get other books published under big houses. So please support the authors and buy a book, and you'll love it. You're going to love it anyway. So, whether it's for you or house, gift it, so yeah, so there's to that. And don't be scared of Marked by the Ouija. It's super fun and awesome.
It's spooky. It's spooky and it's spine tingling, but it's not dangerous. It's something that I think a very, very wide variety of people can read it and appreciate it, from teen to adult. And there's different things that you can learn from it, and about yourself, about others. Just open your mind to new things and watch your world expand. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and we have it marked for, I'd say, young adult, but it's really for older too. Like anyone can read it. And when I say that, it's because when I read it, I'm sitting here and I'm like, it kind of reminds me of a mix of, the way they're crowded around the table. It's like I'm reading almost like an old school. God, it had to be like Goonies, or like one of those, because it kind of reminds me of that. Or what did I call it? I said Goonies meets Stand By Me meets Lost Boys, kind of like just. And then I say boys, but it's there's girls too. There's girl power in there, trust me. But it just reminds me of that, and I love it because it takes me back to being young. Like when I was reading it, I'm sitting there as a teenager, like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, I'm like, you're reliving that moment, and so. You really do. It really does bring you back. It's really cool. So anyway, it's a quick read, and ScottWellsAuthor.com, everyone. And thank you so much, Scott, for joining us. And thank you so much. It was great to join you. Likewise. And thank you everyone for your time. And I look forward to hearing from you about what your thoughts are and on this other project. If you do have some other Ouija board stories, some true experiences, we would love to hear about them. You can submit your post on my website. Just go to submit your story. And then we'll also be posting some other things on Facebook. The Twisted Tales Facebook page we'll also have some information about that as well. It's just a lot of good, exciting stuff.
Yes, submit your stories, everyone. And thank you, and have an awesome, fun-filled, story-filled week. Make it creepy with Marked by the Ouija.
Make it creepy.
Make it creepy.
Thank you so much. Bye.